Welcome back to Avalon and Ninth. Please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. We are here with weeks 42 and 43, 52 weeks of fandom. Yes, we are. With this day in history. That's what we've been doing. So let's jump right into it, okay? First kit up is from Tilly B Plans. It is clearly a Harry Potter kit. And I pulled out this washi. Was this from Black Friday last year? From Sweet Bean Plans, I think. That's what I want to say, is that it was from last year's Black Friday. Not 100% positive, but you know. I'm 90% sure. Okay, so getting all of the glitter headers set up. So I kind of went through and did things a little differently as I was like doing all of this filming, catching up on filming, a whole other bunch of videos that have been filmed, all of that. But we clearly can tell by the colors that are on my nail that Christmas has thrown up on my hands. So, which is completely fine. I'm not 100% against Christmas. I know y'all know that I love my Halloween, but I'm not totally against Christmas. So like I can enjoy it. I'm not a full Scrooge. But you know, this is about as much Christmas spirit that's possibly going to be shown. I don't have Christmas t-shirts. I have a Christmas sweater now. It's an ugly Christmas sweater. It's got a llama and a bell on it. Yeah. And we did buy some Christmas jammies because we're supposed to do a Christmas card, but I don't know when that's gonna happen. So, yeah. So, for this week, it is all the way back in October. Yes, this is why I'm planning them like 2 at a time, because it's just easier. Because the videos are so short. I mean, if you look at the length of this is 2 videos, and it's less than 20 minutes. So this project definitely lends itself to being having 2 videos done at once. So as always, grabbing my TDIH scripts from my shop. Just to let you know, shop is closing down on Sunday, December 19th for the holidays. We will reopen January 3rd. When we do reopen, the custom scripts will be reformatted to something different. However, the font that I just used for that TDIH currently is font number 3, and it is not going anywhere. I really enjoy that font. So but just thought I'd let you know. So if there's any fonts that you do like under custom scripts, I suggest you get them now before we close down on December 19th, because when we come back on the 3rd, they will be different. So as always, my not custom emojis, I do have a custom emoji, but my character emoji there is from the Coffee Monsters Co. And I use it to mark TDIH. So, Monday the 18th, 1931, Thomas Edison, inventor, died at his home in New Jersey. Moving on to Tuesday. This was a mini kit. I've had this kit for a long time. But anyways, it didn't come with any deco, so I do have like blank spots. If kits ever do have deco and I have space, I love to use them in those spaces. So, Tuesday. TDIH script, emoji from Coffee Monsters Co. again, 1985. The first Blockbuster video rental store opens in Dallas, Texas. I did not know that. There's one left and it's in Oregon, right? I want to say it's in Oregon and it's like huge. Like, people travel to go visit. I miss Blockbuster. I really do. I wish maybe it'll come back, you guys. Like, stuff from the 80s is coming back. You see all of like the teenagers now wearing stuff that I wore as a kid and doing all that stuff, and I'm just like, oh. So maybe some of these things will come back. Maybe we'll have Blockbusters again. I think that would be fantastic if we had Blockbusters again. I would love for my children to experience that. Going on Friday night, the smell, picking out your movie, wondering if the new movies even got are all taken. Like, Nostalgia 101. Like, that's where I'm at right now. Okay, the 20th, 1977. 3 members from the rock band Lynyrd Skynyrd die in a plane crash. Moving on to Thursday. Did my husband ever go see... What band did he go see? I don't remember who he went to go see. It's neither here nor there. It just brought up when we were in Utah. He went to a concert by himself, and I don't remember which band he went to go see. On Thursday. 1967. Nearly 100,000 people gather in Washington, D.C. to protest the Vietnam War. That's all I have for you on that one. I didn't dive too deep into that one. Some of the things in later videos, I did dive in a little bit more because I just got really interested. But this was one that I just didn't dive in. I don't think I dove into anything deep on this week. So, because I don't have any extra notes, so I'm assuming I don't. Friday, 2012, cyclist Lance Armstrong is stripped of his 7 Tour de France titles after being charged with using performance-enhancing drugs. I remember when this came out. Like, this was a big deal. Big deal. Because... like, the whole thing was that he had beaten cancer, and he came back, and he was winning, and it was very much like this inspirational story that no matter what life throws at you, you can always get back up and win. And then, like, hearing all of this and all of the, you know, like, I know that it affected some people who looked at him as a role model. So, but I do remember when that came out. Obviously, 2012, that was 9 years ago, so hopefully my memory isn't that bad. That would be a bad thing. So, Saturday, 42 BC, Brutus dies by suicide after his second battle in Philippi. I wanted to start spelling, like, Philip, and that's obviously why I had to use the whiteout. Not very good. So every once in a while, I still pull out that good old Tombow, but it's usually always when I mess up, not to white out any lines. So, oops. And then moving on to Sunday, this is the last one, and then we'll move on to the next week. I'm super, super excited to show you what the next kit is. Of course, it's going to be for the week of Halloween, so you can assume that it's going to be something fandom-related, Halloween-esque. 3, 2, 1, guesses go. All right. 1861. Western Union completes the first transcontinental telegraph line. And forever is our lives changed. That's for sure. So I'm just going to finish up writing here. I think this is my last spread that I do in, like, cursive handwriting. I feel like when I was writing cursive that I'm really, really shaky, which is probably why I can't do lettering very well. And part of that is because I'm really impatient, but I get really nervous, you guys, on when I've got the camera on, when I'm sitting underneath this light and everything. I get really, really nervous, and I think that aids into it, because I get better when I just, like, do printing. So here is the kit. Of course, it's Halloween inspired. I've been holding on to this kit for, is this the second year I've had it? I think so. It never made it into my 52 weeks of Halloween. That I know. So it's a kit from Scribble Prints Co. Based off the movie Hocus Pocus. And, like, I'm gonna, like, decorate this up. So grabbing out my date dots to see which ones I can use and put on there before I pull out my sheets. So I went through, oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so squirrel moment, because I'm going to do a lot of prepping before I actually get into writing down stuff. So real quick, I have to adjust myself in my chair, so you're going to hear a little squeak. There we go. And see that little ring? I organized so much, you guys. I went through, I have actually stacks of stickers from my stash that I actually need to do for racks. So that's coming up on my list for, like, when we're closed down to get these racks out. So, and you know, I'll, if you are part of the Facebook group, that's where I'm going to post things like first, because I ask for always like, if somebody, if you know of somebody that could benefit from this. So it's definitely like nobody enters it. It's very much a like, surprise, I am giving you a whole bunch of stickers. Why? Because I think you're a fabulous person, and just because you probably need it, whatever. Anyways, it's a rack. It's a rack. So I'm going to do a whole bunch of prepping on this spread before I get into actually like writing down the daily history events. So I went through all of my stickers and I organized a ton. I still have a lot of organizing that needs to be done. And so my next organization is to actually start preparing like kits that I'm going to use for this next year and organize them into an album based upon like the weeks that I'm going to use them. And I think that's also going to allow me to really see what kits I need to get rid of, because they're just not making the cut. Because there's some that I've had in there that I still have that I've had for like 3 going on maybe even 4 years. And I'm not from the No Sticker Left Behind club. I actually, if I don't use it, it most of the time just ends up in the trash. However, there is a big caveat to that. Is like functional stickers. Functional stickers I will hang on to just because. But things like, you know, glitter headers, icons, scripts, patterned boxes, solid functionals I'll keep. Those kind of just make their way into the trash. I know you're probably like, you should put them in a pile and give them away to somebody. Maybe I will for this next year. You let me know. So, because if that's the case, you know, I could totally do that, because clearly you see how many stickers I go through. A lot. So, but I organized a whole ton, got everything situated, so that I can really start just like honing in, especially because I have some ideas for the channel for this next year, but you know, before I divulge those, I've got to get everything organized. So so I took an entire day. I think, when was it? It was just a couple weeks ago. So I took an entire day and I did everything. And one of the main things was I took all of my scripts and I put them on a ring there. So now I have them in alphabetical order on a ring. And then I took my date dots and put them on a ring. So I wasn't shuffling through all of these pages every time, because that gets kind of annoying after a while, like shuffling through and stuff. And then I took my Tipsy Dog Designs scripts and phrases and things, and I put them on their own ring. And it's just, oh my gosh, it freed up so much space. So let's get into this. 1994, Susan Smith reports a false carjacking to cover her murder of her children. So she actually, I think there was like an affair involved or something. I can't remember exactly what. I did do a little bit of research, but you know, I don't always write down my notes. And then, you know, of course I forget. But anyway, I think she drove her car into a lake or something. Like, it was just, and then eventually she, like, the weight of it just got onto her and she broke down and she told, but she had, like, stood in front of cameras and was like, if anybody has any information, blah, 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 you know, the standard typical things, like what we've seen with people who have ended up killing their kids or spouses or whatever. They plead to the public that things get done. Anyways, she pleaded with the public, and then the weight of it all just kind of broke down on her, and she eventually came forward and was like, yeah, I did murder my kids. So, anyways, 1984, infant receives baboon heart after being born with HLHS. She was 14 days old at the time of surgery and survived an additional 20 days. Okay, so I dived into this one because I was super interested. So I might not, like, we're gonna get, like, okay. Hypoplastic left heart syndrome is what HLHS stands for, and usually it is a death sentence, not always. but it is something that's usually diagnosed in womb. This, why they chose a baboon heart, I don't know, but it was the closest thing to a human baby heart, and they had this poor baby on all of these different drugs. Like, the doctor had to beg the mother to get it done, and all of that. And I do think that this was actually something that really defined that human animal experiments, like, together couldn't be done. But I mean, she survived an additional 20 days, but I just have to, like, wonder how much, like, agony not only the parents but she was in, because she did start to reject the heart, obviously, and everything. So, but I did dive in a little bit on that. We'll go back to Wednesday, 2006. Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, is the last person to get keys to a Ford Taurus fresh off the assembly line. So he had, like, a whole big quote, like, nostalgia thing, but I didn't write that down. So, 1919, Congress passes the Volstead Act, which provided enforcement of the 18th Amendment, known as the Prohibition Amendment. So, back in the 1920s, we talked about, you know, how prohibition movement here in the United States, where people were not allowed legally to drink alcohol, like, bars weren't done yet. It's where you have, like, a lot of your underground. That's where you've got like, your moonshine and your hooch and all of that stuff that comes from that complete era. And that was all because of the Volstead Act, saying that people did not have the right to drink. So, 1929, the stock market crashes on Black Tuesday, which spiraled the U.S. and the world into the Great Depression. So this is something that obviously we just gotten done with World War I. We were in this, you know, roaring 20s, and then at the end of the 20s, like, things just started happening, and you have the Great Depression, and then eventually we get into World War II, and so, like, that, like, the entire 30s and part of the 40s is a very volatile economic time, and then as soon as World War II was done, like, you have obviously you had the baby boomers and all of that. So, but you had a lot of people who ended up committing suicide because of this. So, not very different to when, like, Wall Street crashed. What was it, back in, like, 2000 something? I don't remember exact dates. Like, you had people committing suicide. This is not anything new. When the stock market crashes and people's livelihoods are at stake, and those are the kind of decisions they make. 1938, Orson Welles' War of the Worlds radio play is broadcasted. The broadcast was so believable that widespread panic had begun at sites the program announced. So people had missed the introduction that this was a fictional scenario, that this was a fictional story. And because in radio you couldn't rewind, and they didn't keep playing this whole it's a fiction story, as people were listening to it, they got so panicked, so worried, that they actually thought these things were happening. So they went outside their houses, especially at the places that were announced. They went outside their houses, and they were having, like, widespread panic, and people were screaming and crying and calling, you know, police and all of this. And that was, like, one of the last times that they ever allowed, like, a fiction type reading on the radio, because it had caused a lot of problems. So, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I'm always for, like, things like that. But that's just me. I'm just weird. All right, 1926. Harry Houdini dies after taking 2 punches to the stomach. His appendix ruptured and poisoned his system. So he had said that he could always take punches to the gut. Somebody that was there punched him in the gut twice. He wasn't ready, like, he hadn't had his abs tightened or anything like that. And that person actually is the one that ruptured his appendix. And that is the way that he died. So, I hope you enjoyed these 2 weeks. I will be back with another video soon, because that's what we're doing. And yeah, so until then, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!